This is something you guys have been requesting for a long time. It took a while, but I finally found 3 stories that take place during school lockdowns. Story 1. The Lunatic in the Hallway. It was a typical boring day in calculus class. It was Friday, 7th period, and spring break was just around the corner. We were all restless in our seats. Our teacher didn't give us a test that day, so instead, he started playing games with us on Sporkle.com. He was a laid-back teacher like that. We were doing a brand logo quiz when the moment happened. I remember my friend had just answered Adidas when the dean's voice suddenly came through the loudspeaker. He sounded panicked and told all teachers this was not a drill, and to go into lockdown. Our usually laid-back teacher suddenly turned serious. He rushed to turn off the lights and ushered us to the back of the room. We all sat in silence. A few minutes later, the usual buzzing sound from the back panel in the room stopped. It meant the school had cut the power, which made us all realize this situation was serious. A man started screaming from down the hallway. 2 girls in class started crying, which only made us more terrified. The man was now banging on lockers, yelling, "I'll kill all of you." Then, the banging moved to our classroom door. One of the crying girls screamed, and the man pounded on the door even harder, yelling, "Open up!" It felt like forever, but eventually the man moved on down the hallway. About 10 minutes later, the dean came back on the loudspeaker. He explained that a mentally unstable man had entered the building and assaulted the front desk receptionist. The staff wasn't sure if the man was armed. Later, we found out that one of the night shift janitors discovered the man sleeping in a storage closet. Rumors spread that a .44 Magnum was sticking out of his pocket. By the time the police arrived, the man had vanished. To this day, none of us know if he was ever caught. Story 2. The Disturbed Neighbor. My school has 2 lunch periods, one for 6th graders and some 7th graders, and the other for the rest of the 7th graders and 8th graders. The lockdown happened in early October. It was an overcast and rainy day. During the first lunch period, I heard 4 loud booms. I thought it was thunder, but the whole lunch crowd started screaming. Campus security rushed in, telling us to go into the multi-purpose room. Everyone who was in line to buy lunch had to throw it away and run inside. The multi-purpose room has a huge see-through glass wall, which campus security quickly covered with curtains. Adults stood at every exit. My friend Eric asked one of the adults what was going on. Eric came back and told us there was a mentally unstable man living in one of the houses near the school. He had barricaded himself inside and was threatening to commit suicide and kill the cops if they tried to evict him. Worse, he had been watching kids outside the school. It turned out the man was a registered sex offender. We were stuck in the multi-purpose room for over an hour. After it was all settled, we were escorted to our classrooms one by one. Later, I found out that the man lived next to my friend Brandy. She told me how, the previous Halloween, she saw him at his window cutting his arm and writing, "Don't come here or I'll kill you," in his own blood. People thought it was just a Halloween prank at the time, but after this, we knew the man was truly dangerous. Story 3. The Man in the Basement. I'm 22 years old, fresh out of college, and I recently got a job at my old high school as a computer intern. The office I work in is in the basement, which is messy and disorganized. but the three-person office itself is nice. My two co-workers, Dave and Gary, were upstairs working when I got a call from the front office. They told me the school was on lockdown because someone possibly armed had entered the building. There wasn't much I could do. The office didn't have a door, just a large opening, and the basement door didn't have a working lock. So I turned off the lights and my computer screen. I sat in the dark for 20 minutes, texting Dave and Gary, but they didn't respond. Then I heard the basement door open. Someone came running down the stairs and entered my office, but they didn't turn on the lights. I hid under my desk, terrified. Suddenly, my phone dinged with a text message. I froze in fear. Footsteps came closer to me. I felt like my heart stopped. Someone grabbed my arm and pulled me up. It was a man wearing a red plaid shirt and a hat. He told me he was hiding down here too and asked if there was an exit. I pointed to the back exit. I then asked him, "Who are you?" He paused and said he came to pick up his son, but a teacher told him to hide. I checked my phone. The text I got was from Dave. It read, "Dude, this is crazy. Some guy shot Mr. Buckley. He's wearing a red shirt and a hat. Don't come upstairs." I looked up at the man in front of me, and my stomach dropped. I knew I had to run. I dashed for the stairs. A gunshot rang out behind me, but thankfully, it missed. I made it upstairs, where the police were waiting at all exits. They caught the man as soon as he opened the basement door. Thankfully, Mr. Buckley survived the gunshot.